And if you switch to 25 kilometers, it spreads, you can see details, 10 kilometers even more. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today we meet inside my Model S, my Tesla Model S, my full electric car. And I will show you a little bit around in this car and mainly about the controls of the car and this huge flat screen where most of the interaction with the car is done, and this other screen where the driving happens. So let's have a first look at the charging. In the end of the last video, I showed you how to charge the car. It was pretty easy. Just plug the cable into the car and charging starts. And this is what you see inside the car. It says 1 hour and 20 minutes remaining to charge for the rest of the battery. So you can see 4 hours for a full charge is feasible. And here you can see we have 3 phases, the small gray three phases charging, 32 amps. And the electric voltage is 227, 228 volts. Well, it's below the 230, which it should have, because, well, we're draining a lot of juice out of the car, out of the wall box. And here you can see 70 kilometers per hour is the gain in range we have in the moment. And since we started to charge, we have 11 kilometers already put into the battery. Here we can have a scheduled charging. Last time I started to charge at 3:35 a.m. and it takes, well, why do we do this? Because sometimes you want to fill up the accumulator, the battery, prior to the beginning of your drive, because high voltages in your battery are not that good for your battery, because the chemistry inside the battery might be harmed. So when you want to have a long range drive, then fill up the battery quite late, immediately in front of the beginning of the drive. And so I started at 6:35 very early in the morning. And here you can say how high you will charge the battery. So to avoid damage to the battery, just fill it up only to 90% for a daily use. Here you can adjust whatever you want. And from time to time, when you have a long trip, then you charge up in full and you will not harm your battery at all. So keeping the battery on a high voltage for a very long time does not do good for your car or for your battery. This is the problem with all those cars with these small batteries, like the BMW i3. This one you always have to fill up just to the top. Here you can see we stopped during the scheduled charging, and now the amps are built up again and the voltage reduces. If you do not have a double charging equipment as this car has, then the maximum charge current will be 16 amps on 3 phases, and it will reduce the charging, and here the maximum amps will also reduce to 16, and then you can see the voltage is going up because we drain less energy out of the wall. Here you can see the gain in range is only 56 kilometers per hour if you have this 11 kilowatt charger, and since we started to charge, we have 13 kilometers put in. The remaining time until you reach the level is 1 hour 55 minutes. And if you want to stop the charging, you have seen in the last video that the plug is fixed in the car so that nobody can steal your cord. Then you click on stop charging and then you can take out the plug. Well, that's it on this particular charging screen, and we're going on in the menu soon. Let's have a look at the main screen. It's divided into several areas. You have the 2 main apps which are choosable by this menu on top. Then we have the very top menu you already know from Android phones. You have the outside temperature, you have the battery as in a mobile phone with this flash on it. This means that it's charging. You have this little house with which you can open your electric garage door. Then you have the presetting of the steering wheel of your seat with the name of the driver on it. In the middle, the Tesla T. You see the About screen and the software release. I have 2.2.115. And we have here a small clock, and this clock is seen quite seldom. It's a software update waiting. Over the air, over the day, a software update came in, and this night at 2:00 a.m. I will install this update, and it will take approximately 45 minutes where I'm not able to drive with that car. And it says 10 hours, 13 minutes from now it will start to update the software. So be careful, you aren't able to drive in this time. Then the Bluetooth signal sign. I do not have my mobile phone connected in the moment. Then the edge indicator for the mobile connection. This is not my phone. This is the internet connection of the car. The car is always connected with Tesla motors. They are monitoring the car. They know what's going on. And with this mobile connection, it's from Telefónica Spain here in Europe. It's the E network. You have internet in all countries. You do not have to pay roaming fees. It's a free internet as long as the car lives. This is a wonderful thing. You can't use it for your own mobile phone. You can't use it for transferring files, your pictures or whatever, but you can use it for your web browser, and you can use it for navigation. We'll see that. Here is the actual time of the day, and on the very low you have a control button, and this control button we're looking at afterwards. The seat heating, the temperature, the heating of the front windshield, and this is an extra, I think, for the cold weather extension of the car. Here you can switch the climate off and on completely. The rear window heating, the passenger seat heating, or climate and seat heating, and this is the master volume for your music and your navigation. Let's have a first look at the energy consumption you're seeing here on the car. This is what I used out of the battery in the past 50 kilometers. 0 is here, minus 10 kilometers, gone 20, and so on. Here you see a peak. I went over the Autobahn quite fast. And if you switch to 25 kilometers, it spreads. You can see details. 10 kilometers, even more. This is the average projected range I will be able to drive with my Juice. I have already in the battery 219 kilometers, and the instant range would have been 211 kilometers, so I drove a little bit more slowly than the average. Average consumption was 236 watt hours per kilometer. Often it says this is 23.6 kilowatts per 100 kilometers. This is to compare the figures with the petrol or the gas used in your car, and 23 is a lot more higher than 7 liters of diesel. These are just numbers, and this is less. This is quite only a few energy used. It's very, very efficient. Here I have my player. This is an internet radio in the moment going on. Here I can browse. I have a typical tuner with the local stations, FM and AM. I have my internet where I can choose between tune in and RDIO. And there I can go into people and brands and the Missy magazine I'm hearing in the moment. I don't know this station, but music is quite okay. And I can rate the music by thumb up, thumb down. And if you like this video, give me your thumb up. Here I have my own music devices. I can add a Bluetooth device, or I can have a USB memory stick with my music. Here are my favorites, and here is what I recently played. Here I have the bass and treble, and the fading and balance. It's quite easy. Those are this. Then this was the media. This was the energy. It's white on black. And here is the navigation. And with the navigation, we have this small symbol in the left corner, and there you can use up the full screen. And as you can see here, this is Google Maps with the aerial view. You can take this away and have only the street view. There are colors on the roads showing the traffic and jams. And this red sign is a supercharger where you can charge for free. There are over 150 supercharger stations all over Europe in the moment, most of them in Germany. There are a few. Here I gave in a road from Lake Starnberg into Munich to a museum. You can have this Autobahn mode where the scale is quite big. You can have a north direction. You can have a driving direction, so I have to turn around. And, the Autobahn mode. Here it shows 55% charge left when I'm reaching the destination. And in this energy screen, you can see how I will use up the energy in my car. In the beginning, I'm driving Autobahn quite fast, and then I come into the city, I'm driving not that fast, so the slope is reducing of the curve. There are several places like the superchargers here in my surrounding, and I do not have more than 100 kilometers to the next supercharger from where I live, so I need half an hour or an hour charge in my car, and then I come on the grid of the superchargers, and then I'm free to drive all over Europe and charge up in half an hour for 200 more kilometers. Then there is a calendar. I forgot. All these direction informations you have here are also on the main screen, on the main driving screen. So this is one of the very few cars which have a map of your direction directly beside all the main instruments of your car. Then there is a calendar from the phone, synchronized. It's not connected in the moment, and I'm afraid I wouldn't show you my appointments. The web, here you can have connection to the internet. In the moment it's only Edge, so it's quite difficult to have a good connection on the countryside as I have, but in the cities it's wonderful. Here you have a back-facing camera which comes on automatically if you go in reverse. There are lines showing the direction in which you drive, very good. And then the connected phone. Below those two app areas, there's also the main climate control, where you have air conditioning on or off. Then if you have air from the outside, or keep your inside air, then where the air is distributed, and here we have the fan, which you can also switch to auto, but do not disturb the tone. For this video, I turned it off. Well, that's the main screen for the main functions, and there are several, menus below which we reach with the controls button, and I'll show you soon. Now we have a closer look to the controls of the car, and this is boring. This is a lot of information you might not want to know now, but stay tuned. In the end, we're showing the main screen and the odometer and the power meter and so on. So we look at the controls first, and here is the control of the suspension and the ride height. I showed to you in the first video how to bring the car up and down again, is controlled here. It's great in the moment because it's charging, it's parked, and you're not allowed to manipulate the height of the car in the moment. There's a jack position when you want to change the tires. The height of the car has a memory function with a GPS, so the car remembers in which positions you put the car in height mode, in very high mode, on particular roads, or if you enter your house and there is a steep entry road, something like this, then it will remember it and will always bring the car up in this GPS position. Bringing the car down for higher speeds, there's a adjust speed button here, and it says from 80 kilometers per hour and higher the car will drive in slow. And here you can say from 160 kilometers per hour, which is 100 miles per hour, then the car will lower itself down. So I say I want to have everything about 80 kilometers, and this is the minimum speed where you're able to measure an energy advantage. And say, oh, be careful, do you want to proceed? You may harm your car, the likelihood of damage. And yes, I will, of course I will. Driving. There's the steering mode, where you have the standard or a sport mode and a comfort mode where the steering wheel is turning very lightly. And I prefer the standard. When I'm on vacations, it's comfort, and very seldom I switch to sport. In the last version, the version 2.2, they added a speed factor for this automatic steering. When you drive for 30 seconds faster than 100 kilometers per hour or so, then the steering will become more sportive, more fastened. So it's more easy to drive now. There's traction control. I always have it on. It's if you want to slide with your car or whatever you want to drive here. It's for Jeremy Clarkson. Creep on or off. This means that the car creeps like with an automatic transmission. If you have manual steering, manual gear, the car will rest in your position and will not drive automatically in front. So if you're used to an automatic transmission, then put it to on, otherwise to off. I prefer the on because it's more easy. Regenerative braking, that means when you release the accelerator, then the car will automatically start to brake because the motor is turned into a generator and generates energy for the battery. And this is standard, means you have you have a brake, and in normal conditions you will never have to brake manually. So braking with a generator is perfectly in this standard condition. If you turn to low, this is, yes, conserving more energy. You're sailing because you're losing 3 times. You take the energy out of the battery, then you generate, put it in the battery, and then you take it out of the battery again. And all those 3 factors have an a yield. So you lose a lot of energy if you are regenerating. So we say 10% you lose on every action, so 70% you will regain. Range mode on and off. That means if you put the range mode in on, then the battery won't be heated, the air conditioning will work less, the heating will work less, so you conserve energy, and this is definitely a range increase if you use the range mode. Cold weather means you can put your heating on, your wipers may be heated if you have this winter package, the back seats may be heated, and you can turn all out. Oh, the wipers won't go out when you turn all off. Trips. Here you can see the distance you traveled, the total energy you took out of the battery, and the average energy per kilometer you used. Now the car is in charging. There's nothing in it, but here you can see on the Trip B meter what I traveled so far. It's 28,000 kilometers, 6,970 kilowatt hours, an average energy of 245. In summer it's less, in winter it's more. So I'm driving a lot of short distances, so the battery is heated, it uses a lot of energy, and if I'm going to the autobahns, I'm driving quite fast, so I take out also a lot of energy during the autobahns. It's, well, when I'm on vacations, it's 180, 190. It's quite decent. Display, you can reduce the display and increase the display. I put it up now because of the camera we are running here. Display mode night and day, it switches automatically, and this button for cleaning mode means it turns in cleaning mode. There's just a knob in the middle and says hit it for 3 seconds and then it will come on again. Then you can clean the screen without disturbing all the interface. E-brake and power off. Well, here you can switch the parking brake. Here you have this at the steering wheel also. This is if you drive and need an emergency brake, then hit the button longer time. And then you can turn the power off of the vehicle if you want to change a bulb or have to do something with the electricity at the car at all. Then there are more settings. There are apps you've seen before, maps, navigation, calendar, and so on. There in the future, it is planned that you can add your own apps. Well, an app store for Tesla? Well, probably. There are driver profiles for me and for others. And if you enter this driver profile, then the steering wheel and the seating will change. Languages, put in German. Distances, kilometers instead of miles. Time format, 24 hours instead of 12 hours. Temperatures in centigrade instead of Fahrenheit. And the distance, please, or the energy and charging, please in distance, not in energy. Distance is more practical for me. There are two settings, typical and rated for the distance. Typical is, well, it's a normal, not so intense ride. And rated is, you can never reach rated. Well, never say never, but this is very low. It's like the official cycles you drive, which are very, well, untypical. The vehicle, you can say, drive away door lock, always off. We have no criminals here in our area, so this is a ghetto function. I don't need it. Child protection lock for the back seats, that it can't open the doors. Walk away door lock, well, I like that, so I never forget to close up the car. To lock up the car. Auto present handles, if I come near the car with my key and there's the transmitter in the key, then the handles will come out automatically. The lights, headlights after exit, on or off. I typically have off, conserve energy. Mirrors auto tilt, if you're going in reverse, it's on. Auto tilt to move the mirrors in, I do not have them. And climate preconditioning, this is a very new function with the version 2. If your car is plugged in overnight, it will precondition the car to the typical temperature you want to have if you if you leave in the morning. Safety and security. If you have a child on the passenger seat, you can turn the airbag off. Park assist chimes, well, they beep and in front and the back and show off. Security on, of course. Mobile remote access from your phone, it's on. Displays, oh, that's the same as with controls. Yes. Home link, this is to program your door at home or your gate. Service and rest, service mode for the wipers if you want to change the wipers. Tire pressure monitor, if you change tires, you can readjust them. Tow mode, hopefully I won't use that for unlocking the single gear. Factory reset all my settings. And then here's the manual. You can look up everything about battery information. Come on. No? Charging. So all the manual is in here, online. And there's a last function here in the lower part of the control screen. It's always the same. You can open the front trunk. You can lock up the car, unlock the car. Here you can see the charge port is open. It's the yellow arrow. Then you can open the trunk. You can put on the lights and off. You can put on the dome light and off and so on. That's it. That's the main screen or the big screen, and soon we come to the driving screen. Now we have a look at the driving screen, the second screen in the Tesla Model S. And this one is, well, at that position where you typically have your instruments in your car. And this is the mode you see during charging. It says charging. This is the filling of the battery. It says 288 kilometers. So it took quite a time to take this video, and the battery fills up. Here at the car you see the cord, the plug, where the energy is flowing in, the green light showing it's interactive. And here on top it says 44 kilometers additional range per hour, 229 volts, 3 phases charging, 16 amps, maximum 32 amps. And during this charging, you can't start the car. Driving not possible. Get an error because, well, it will tear off the rope from the wall. No? But you see the braking lights in the back interactive. Wonderful. So to see, you can configure this screen in multiple ways. So you have the main instrument in the middle and 2 additional on the right and left. Here you see the energy consumption you've seen on the big screen in the past. And this axis change also if you change the axis on the big screen. On the right hand side you see the trips. And because we're charging, the actual is set to 0. Well, and when we start to drive, the figures will count up there. To show you more, I just have to go outside and remove the cord. Stop charging. Oh, it goes down, down, off. Charging stopped. Now I have to unlock the port. Cluck. Now the port is unlocked. I'll just go out. Sorry. You see, interactive, also the door opening, closing, well, gamification of the world. Now you hit the brake pedal and the instrument changes, and you hear a chime because I'm not buckled up. And you hear a humming. This is the air suspension bringing the car up. Here you see the velocity I drive. There will be a blue indicator coming up to 250 kilometers per hour. There's no speed limit on German autobahns, I'm afraid, or I'm lucky. This car is limited to 200 kilometers per hour, but there are cars like the P85D out on the roads which will hit 250 until they limit the power. On the right hand side you see this orange line. That means we are consuming energy. It's going up to 320 kilowatts, which is an awful lot of power and accelerates your car in 5.5 seconds up to 100 or 60 miles per hour, 100 kilometers per hour. And if the car is regenerating, then it will be green and going down to 60 kilowatts, which you can regenerate from the kinetic energy of your car and put it inside the battery. Well, just try a little bit to increase the energy use. I put all the heat seating. You see is a little bit more going up. You can change the left and right hand side of the menu by pressing the button, and now you can say, well, I want to have the energy on the right hand side. It switches over, or you press it again and say, I want to have the media player. I will have the media player here, and which is very, very good. If you have your navigation system running, then you have the map very close to the main instrument. This is wonderful because you do not have to look at the main screen. The transmission is as simple as an automatic transmission is. This is in park in the moment. Then you go into neutral and finally into drive. And it will just hit a little bit. So, and then pressing the button again, we go to park. There is a small white triangle. This is the speed control, the cruise control. You can take it, put it off or on again, and you can increase the speed, and you can decrease the speed. You put it off by pushing it in front, and you resume the old speed by tearing it. And who looks exactly at those controls? It's Mercedes-Benz. So there was a partnership between Tesla and Mercedes-Benz, and they took over the controls. It's also the turn indicator, which isn't visible here. It's the wiper and the turn indicator. It's just Mercedes-Benz. Well, I think this was it, what I have to say. It's a wonderful car. It's driving version 2.0. I'm happy to have that car, and Tesla gives everybody a test ride. So have a ride on that car, but be careful. It's dangerous. Afterwards you want to have such a car. It was the same way at me. My mind, I made up my mind quite fast and said I want to have that car. It's driving the future. So thank you for watching. There's more to come. Stay tuned. And in the summer I will show you several more videos of places where I travel with my car, my Tesla Model S. Thank you.